It was the hottest day Texas had seen in years. The state fairgrounds buzzed with laughter, sizzling food, and bright lights. But beneath all the excitement, the heat clung to every surface, making the air thick and unforgiving. Families strolled past lemonade stands, livestock displays, and music tents, their hats tilted low to shield them from the blazing sun dot, and there, standing under no tent, with no shade or cooling breeze, were two small twin girls. They looked around 8 years old. Brown curls clung to their sweaty faces, and their dresses, once a soft white, were now stained with dust and wear. They clutched each other's hands tightly, their eyes scanning the crowd with hope. Between them sat a small, battered cardboard sign with shaky handwriting, "We'll sing for food." People passed them like they were invisible. Some glanced and looked away quickly. A few tossed loose change into the rusty tin can at their feet without slowing down, but no one stopped. No one asked why they were there. No one heard their voices until Caleb Foster walked by. Caleb wasn't anyone special, not in the way society measured success. A single dad in his 30s, he wore jeans faded from work and a t-shirt that clung to his back with sweat. His hands were calloused from years of construction work, and his boots had seen better days. But he had something many others didn't. A heart wide open to the world, especially to those in pain. He had taken his 10-year-old son, Eli, to the fair that day to escape the weight of their reality. Life had been hard lately, bills piling up, jobs drying out, and long days that turned into longer nights. He hadn't smiled in a while. Not really, but when Eli tugged on his hand and said, "Dad, look at those girls," everything changed. Caleb followed his son's finger and saw them, the twins, small, still, and so heartbreakingly tired. He paused, letting the crowd wash around them like a tide, and walked over. "Hey there," he said gently, crouching to their level. "You girls okay?" One of them nodded, the motion barely perceptible. "Yes, sir," she whispered. "We sing for food." Caleb looked down at their sign, then up again. "Where's your mom?" "In the car," the other girl replied. "She's sick. We're trying to help her." Caleb looked closer now. Their lips were dry. Their cheeks were flushed, dangerously red. They hadn't eaten properly, hadn't drank water in hours. They were struggling to survive, right here in front of hundreds of people who pretended not to see. He turned to Eli. "Son, go get 3 bottles of water. Cold ones and some sandwiches from that booth." Eli nodded and ran off without a word. Caleb sat on the curb beside the girls, not caring that the concrete burned his skin. "You got names?" he asked. "I'm Hope," said the older one. "And I'm Grace," said the younger. "Fitting names," Caleb said, smiling softly. "I'm Caleb. That's my son, Eli." They nodded, barely able to meet his eyes. Eli came running back with the water and food. The girls hesitated, looking unsure. "It's okay," Caleb assured them. "It's not charity." "You said you sing, right? How about a trade? You sing a song and I give you lunch." The girls looked at each other, then, slowly, nodded. They stood, still clutching each other's hands. One cleared her throat. Then in soft, wavering voices, they began to sing. It wasn't a song Caleb recognized, maybe a lullaby, maybe a hymn, but it didn't matter. Their voices were small but beautiful, fragile yet steady. There was a soul in their singing that made time slow. And people noticed. One by one, fairgoers stopped. Some just turned their heads, others paused fully. A few stepped closer. By the end of the song, a small crowd had formed. Then something incredible happened. They started clapping, and not just polite applause. Real, emotional, heartfelt clapping. Tears welled up in strangers' eyes. Even Eli wiped at his face, though he insisted it was the sun making his eyes water. Caleb stepped forward, still stunned. "You girls ever sang on a stage before?" "No, sir," Hope replied. "Well," he said, looking at the growing crowd, "maybe it's time." He stood up and raised his voice. "Hey, any musicians around? Anyone got a mic, a speaker? These girls deserve to be heard." Within minutes, a local band packing up from a nearby tent offered their small setup. A vendor pulled over an umbrella to give them shade. A woman handed over sunglasses for their eyes. A young man set up a tip jar. A bench was brought over so they wouldn't have to stand too long. And then they sang again, this time, with a mic in hand and hundreds watching. Hope and Grace found something inside themselves. Something strong. Their voices soared. Still, soft, but filled with emotion that shook people. They sang about love, loss, hope, God, their mama. People wept openly. A cowboy in boots took off his hat and placed it over his heart. A young woman fell to her knees in prayer. Even the funnel cake man stopped frying to listen. When they finished, the crowd erupted into applause that echoed across the fairgrounds. The tip jar overflowed. More importantly, so did hearts. After the show, Caleb helped pack everything up. He walked with the twins to the dusty old car they had spoken of. In the back seat lay their mother, Denise, pale, thin, but alert. She sat up when she saw them, eyes wide. "Girls, where were you?" Hope hugged her. "Mama, we sang," and they listened. Denise looked at Caleb. "And who are you?" Caleb smiled gently. "Just someone who saw your daughters when no one else did." She broke down crying. Not from sadness, but from the overwhelming feeling of finally being seen. Caleb offered them help. "I don't have much, ma'am, but I got a house with an extra room. I got food, a little work maybe, and I got a son who'd love some sisters to drive him crazy." Denise shook her head. "We can't—" "Yes," Caleb interrupted softly. "You can." And so they did. The next weeks were filled with change. Caleb's small house became livelier. Eli taught the girls how to ride bikes and play checkers. Denise slowly recovered with proper meals and rest. And the girls? They kept singing. Caleb recorded one of their songs on his phone and posted it online. Within a week, it hit 3 million views. People wanted more. He set up a channel. Hope and Grace, Voices from the Fair. The story spread fast. News anchors called. Churches invited them to perform. A record producer from Austin drove 5 hours just to sit in Caleb's living room and hear them sing. He cried. He signed them Dob. The girls began recording their first album, Dob, at every step. Caleb was there. Not their father by blood, but their guardian in every way that mattered. He taught them how to stand tall. He showed them what family really meant. And in return, they gave him the one thing he'd lost after his wife died: joy. 1 year later, the Texas State Fair invited them back. This time as special guests. The same dusty lot now had a stage built just for them. As they walked on stage in matching white dresses, the crowd, thousands strong, fell silent. Caleb watched from the side, Denise beside him, Eli in front holding a camera. The twins took the mic. "Last year," Hope said, "we stood here with a cardboard sign. We were hungry, tired, and nobody saw us. Except one man," Grace added. "One dad, not ours, but he became ours." Hope nodded. "He gave us food, a home, a future, a voice." Then they began to sing, the same lullaby from a year ago. But now with stronger voices, fuller harmony, backed by a soft guitar and gentle piano. The crowd didn't make a sound. By the final note, every person was standing. Silent. Moved. Transformed. Then came the applause, thundering. Emotional, endless. The mayor stepped on stage with a plaque. The girls were declared Voices of Hope. Caleb was honored as Citizen of the Year. And Denise, now strong and smiling, spoke 3 words to him that meant everything: "You saved us."